Welcome back to Open Court. We moved to the 1990s as we...
Well, speaking of the 1990s, what did you say about Dream Team?
I was so...
It was wrong that Shaq and I wasn't on a Dream Team. It was just wrong.
And I still,
100%
think Dream Team 2 could beat Dream Team 1. And I don't care who like it.
Clap, man. I was on Dream Team 2. Right? I forgot I was on that team. You forgot.
So, what did you walk into in 1995 as you came into this league?
Wow. You know, I think the league obviously was post-Jordan. Jordan had sort of retired for the first time. And the legends of the 80s who kind of played a little bit into the 90s were retiring as well. Isaiah had just left in Detroit, Magic a few years earlier, Bird. So the league was sort of maybe in a bit of a transition as Shaquille was emerging, you know, Reggie.
Emerging? I was emerged already.
He was born emerged.
No.
Whatever that is.
Who was the first pick me word this morning? Not Alonzo Morning.
Oh, man. That was my train of thought.
I was with him when he wrote that one, too. I was with him when he wrote that. Emerged.
No, but I mean, the league was in transition, I think. And younger guys were emerging as the new stars, as the new pillars of the league. And Shaq, although he was already emerged.
And the interesting thing about this, when we talk about the 90s, is you guys played against all these guys who are up for consideration in here. So, 3D, who would be your team of the 90s if you had to limit it to 5? And now it's your 5 best, or it's 5 by position?
And be careful how you answer that number 5 spot.
I mean, it's a no-brainer who my center is. It's a no-brainer.
Just checking.
Power forward.
Put these hands on you.
Karl Malone.
What?
Intentionally. If I can say this, Isaiah, he intentionally opened up an old wound.
You sound like Little John over there. What?
My goodness. Hey, you've got him in stitches with that comment.
Watch this.
Wound and stitches, they go together.
Oh, I remember.
2 guard, obviously.
Stop snitching.
2 guard, obviously. 2 guard MJ.
Okay.
And my point guard, I'm going with John Stockton.
Oh, Lord, look at this.
No, I'm good with that. I was all right.
It was just my power forward.
Hey, Stockton, Jordan, Malone, and Shaq.
And then my small forward, with Dominique Wilkins, just to give him some love.
In the 90s?
Well, I know at 90 he was still giving us buckets. Now, it might not be, but that's what I'm going with. I'm leaving it at that.
In the 90s, I would take him
I wouldn't.
over Dominique.
In the 90s, I would go, and I know
Dominique was on the Achilles.
he had.
I have Scottie
And
Pippen.
then-
Scotty would be in the 90s. And I know that
I was waiting for it.
I had a great 6 years, but I think I didn't win. And I didn't have, you know, we're judged, as Reggie said earlier, on postseason. I didn't have great success in the 90s in the postseason. So, you know, if that's part of the criteria, then yeah, Scotty gets it. But head up, you know.
Head up.
I bet my numbers.
Head up.
My numbers were, you know.
You talk about the numbers being very similar, and they were, except that you had you averaged more points, rebounds, and assists than he did.
No, but wait. Let's
I got more
acknowledge.
touches.
Let's acknowledge on the real who this guy really is sitting here, because when Jordan was retiring and Grant Hill was coming into the league, we were talking about passing the mantle
To Grant.
Yes, you was going. So it ain't like you won. Scottie Pippen couldn't carry the league. Jordan carried the league. We're talking about a guy like yourself carrying the league. So you can't sit there and be like, oh, well, you know, Scott, you know that.
Hey, you know what? I'll let you say it. If you want to say
the worst
it.
Grant Hill.
I respect my
No, but it's like real. No, Stan, you know, it's like.
You know what? Damn it, it's me.
What?
I'm the small forward.
Does Scottie Pippen
90s.
have pictures of you or something? What's the deal with Scottie?
Wait a minute, wait, ho.
Something's going on.
I'm messy, Reggie.
Did Michael Did you want him on the team?
Well, I can't speak for Michael, but no, I did not want him on the team.
I don't mind Michael Jordan saying,
Thank
I
you.
didn't want Isaiah to be on the dream team.
Thank you.
I don't mind, you know, if Larry Bird said, I don't want Isaiah to be on the dream team.
But
if Scottie Pippen say, I don't want Isaiah to be on the dream team,
That's the problem.
man, come on. You can't say nothing.
I got a new
You
topic
can't
for
say,
the
you can't say nothing.
I need
If Jordan is
something
like,
here.
look, I'm not playing. If Isaiah plays, okay, all right. Scottie Pippen, I'm not playing. If Isaiah plays, man, go to the park.
3D, I need you to get up for a second. Get up for a second if you would, 3D.
Okay.
And Isaiah, lay down on the couch. How long have you been harboring this, Isaiah? Are you feeling better now that it's come out, Isaiah?
Well, you know, Ernie, it's been a while. It's been on my mind, you know, for about, 25 years right now.
Does this feel like a weight is being lifted off of you?
Well, yeah, because I finally get to talk about it and just, the whole dream team experience. And again, I got no problems with, the greatest player to ever play say he don't want to play with me, or Magic saying he don't. But anybody below them talking about they don't want to play with me? Anybody?
Excuse me, Mr. Thomas.
And I say below them?
Mr. Thomas,
Yes.
your hour is up. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to charge you more. But I'm glad you feel better. Okay, let's move on. There we go. Very good. Thank you. Very nice.
Coach.
That's awesome. Okay, Shaq, tell me about the 90s.
I'm going to go at the 5 spot. I'm going to go with Akeem Olajuwon. Because for me, I know I was coming in and I was emerging / already emerged. He was the only guy that I couldn't figure out. I couldn't figure him out. And he was the only guy that I couldn't intimidate. The Georgetown boys, we all know they're going to fake left and go right. Rick Smith used to kill me early on, too. But
You say fake left and go right.
yeah, fake hard left. Go right the whole time, yo. And just go right. Go ahead, Alonzo. Go right. Go right and give me that dumbass running hook. But anyway, him at the 5. I agree with D. Karl Malone at the 4 spot was a beast. That pick and roll, him and Stockton in the pick and roll, unstoppable. At the 3, I don't know at the 3 yet. But at the 2, Mike, of course. And at the point guard, I'm going to go with GP.
Only because there's another decade to go, which is a really large verbal parachute for me at this point at center, which will be him. But in the 90s, I would take Akeem Olajuwon and what it is that he represented at the center position. I mean, he redefined what it was to be an athlete at that spot in much the way that, Chamberlain did with his footwork and athleticism. He was incredible. At the 4, Karl Malone and Charles is an awesome debate, but I would choose Karl Malone to play the 4 spot. At the small forward, I've talked to Grant at length about his career. I mean, he was absolutely the guy that was going to be what the league was about. Class, could do everything on the court and off the court. He was going to be that guy. And because of injuries and things that happened, because of Scottie Pippen winning championships at the small forward, it's hard not to put Scottie Pippen as the best small forward throughout the 90s. Great 2 guards in the 90s, Reggie Miller, Joe Dumars, Mitch Richmond, Clyde Drexler, all behind Michael Jordan. There's just not, it's hard to say that, but Reggie, you deserve.
I ain't not dumb enough to put myself in.
And then the point guard is a tough one because you're talking about how to play the point guard and guys that could do a little bit of everything. And Gary Payton and John Stockton represented the 90s, this 90s decade in 2 very, very different ways. And so it depends on what kind of style of ball you'd like to play. And I played with Gary in Seattle and grew up watching him in Oakland at Skyline High School and then on the Oregon State and then his years in Seattle. But I would pick John Stockton, who I think was more capable of doing more things in Utah, but because of that system, did what it was that needed to be done for Jerry Sloan and for Karl Malone.
Everybody satisfied. Everybody had their say here on the 90s.
Reggie.
Well, I mean, you guys are going by position, so I went.
no,
with
you're-
I went
well,
with
well,
best.
you've already-
I went with the best five. So.
There you go.
And they are.
Well, MJ, obviously. Well, let me start by saying special consideration, so people don't get upset. To Isaiah, special consideration to Shaq, and special consideration to Grant. But Charles, Carl, Hakeem, and he's really not going to like this. David Robinson. I mean, David Robinson gets overlooked as one of the best centers of all time.
Reggie, are
during
you
the
thirsty?
90s.
I want you to drink some of this.
You can say what you want, but 2 championships later in the MVP, David Robinson
And
was
Patrick-
He was
a
the man.
load.
Yeah, no, he was the man.
He was a load
Yes,
in the
he was.
90s.
And Patrick Ewing doesn't get a mention from anybody?
He just did. He
just try to be fair at the center.
And when we're talking about
Barley was-
centers, he would probably be the 4th behind David, Hakeem, and Shaq. Not in that order. You might be higher, you may be lower.
This is
Just because, like you said, we have another decade to go where you
yes, that's
where
right, we do.
you get rewarded.
one
Can't
thing.
get every decade.
One thing that we
Why
did.
not?
thing that we did glean out of that whole thing is Georgetown Hoya. Let's say it again. Let me see it.
Kimbe, Alonzo.
Ready? Let's see it.
Go ahead, Alonzo. Go that way. Kimbe, Patrick, you too. That dumbass running. Eliminate that shot from the game.
All right, we got the 2000s still to go as we wrap up this edition of Open Court. We'll be back to do that right after this.